When we create an ad and in the Google Ads platform, we see that it has strong metrics like a high engagement rate that's around 30%, a good click-through rate above 0.6%. When we see strong metrics like that, we can then take that ad and set it as public instead of unlisted on the channel. And then that will show up in people's organic feeds on both Shorts and the classic YouTube platform. And then because we're a YouTube partner member, that allows our client to then monetize those videos. So any views on that and AdSense revenue that comes from those views is now money back into the pocket of the channel owner.
I just got back from D2C Newsletter's C-Suite Mastermind in Las Vegas, and I gotta tell you that this room of 100 D2C and retail operators were just buzzing about TapCart mobile shopping apps. A lot of the brands in the room are already using TapCart, and the ones who weren't are thinking about it because a mobile app is going to improve your retention. It's also going to allow you to diversify your distribution strategies, which has never been more important. And more than that, your customers are just going to love it. Mobile app users have proven to be bigger diehard fans of your brand. They've got higher conversion rates, revenue per session, and LTV compared to users that come to your web-based store. Just like fashion brand Princess Polly, who launched their app in 2019 using TapCart and now consistently see 20 to 25% of their revenue coming from this channel. It's their second highest revenue channel after their online store. With TapCart, it's incredibly easy to build, launch, and maintain your mobile apps. So to learn more, go right now to tapcart.com/DTC. That's tapcart.com/DTC. Tell them Eric sent you. It's all killer, no filler. I'm Eric, and I'm here with co-host Cam, as well as two leaders from Pilothouse's Google team, Adam and Fabrizio, who Adam calls Breezy, so we may have to call him Breezy on the podcast. That's just too cool not to. And we want to talk about some really cool discoveries that this team has made in regard to the YouTube Shorts program. It's something we talk about on the podcast all the time since Sean Frank went crazy at our mastermind, just talking about it as like the biggest opportunity for organic traffic in the world. We talk all the time about using ads or using organic content as ads when it works, but we've got a little reversey to talk about today, so we'll get into that. But Adam, just start us off by talking about what is the YouTube Partner Program and how do we use it as an agency on people's advertising accounts?
Yeah, so the YouTube Partner Program it's basically a membership provided by YouTube, and when a channel reaches us when a channel achieves a certain number of prerequisites, they gain membership to the YouTube Partner Program. And the things that come with that are things like YouTube creator support teams. So you can have people in the background working at YouTube help you figure out how to interpret your analytics, come up with better intros, all that stuff. You basically get a rep at YouTube that you can chat with and get inside baseball from. In addition to that, YouTube Partner members are allowed to provide on-video links that take the viewer away from the YouTube platform. So that means that on your organic videos, you'll be able to link viewers directly to product pages and other landers that you think align well with your video and the product that's being covered in that video. Additionally, there's access to monetization, so you can start making money from your organic views. That's basically
what kind of thresholds are we talking about here in terms of what scale do brands need to be thinking about before they get this available to them?
Yeah, so really basically, first your channel needs 1,000 subscribers, and you need a certain number of views or watch hours. So you need 1,000 subs, and you need 10 million public Shorts views. That means views on organic videos. Or you need 4,000 public watch hours on your landscape content, that traditional YouTube style content. So it's 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours or 10 million Shorts views.
Love it. So how, as an agency, are we using this brands that qualify for this organic partnership in our ad campaigns?
That's a bit of a segue into our next topic, actually, because when we create an ad and we look at the KPIs in the Google Ads platform and we see that it has strong metrics like a high engagement rate that's around 30%, a good click-through rate which would be above 0.6%. So, 0.6% is a good click-through rate on a video. So when we see strong metrics like that on a paid ad that we created, we can then take that ad and set it as public instead of unlisted on the channel. And then that will show up in people's organic feeds on both Shorts and the classic YouTube platform. And then because we're a YouTube partner member, that allows our client to then monetize those videos that we turned public. So any views on that and AdSense revenue that comes from those views is now money back into the pocket of the channel owner, which would be our partner or our client, right? Additionally, on those ads that we're setting as public, now that once a channel becomes a YouTube partner, then we can show the links on top of those videos that take the viewer away from the platform and to their PDP. So it's also increasing the likelihood that they'll get direct traffic from YouTube, which would not have been a possibility unless they were on the YPP.
Yeah, like give me an example. So this is not something you're doing willy-nilly. You're not launching all ads that you create into a client's account. For Breezy, you're talking about some of these metrics that we use. Give us an example of how this worked. Give us an example of exactly what happened when we tried this with some clients.
Well, first of all, it's something that we started to test in Pilothouse because we didn't see any information of this out there. It was just a theory. We didn't see if when you upload content into YouTube, there are three ways to upload it. One it's as unlisted, one as a public, and one as a private. All of our ads usually are uploaded as unlisted. That's one of the usual good practices. But with YouTube Shorts, we saw that YouTube treats YouTube Shorts ads just as organic content, that there's no difference in there. So our theory was if we see that this good content, that it's an ad, it's performing well, has really good view rates, have really good engagement, it's because people are liking it. People are loving this content, even if it's an ad. So why not we set them free? Just give some love to our ads. So that was our theory. And also we knew that if these perform, probably our clients, our partners will have better content out there. So we started doing this experiment, and we saw really good performance in one of our partners. One of the content that we transformed from unlisted to public, it went viral. Two of our ads had sum up around 2 million views.
Unbelievable. So ads that linked to the store, not just to other videos on the YouTube platform, generated 2 million organic views. That's crazy. What would that have cost, Adam, on if you were paying for those?
For that specific client, the average cost per view in Google Ads there for the last 28 days, or the 28 days that over the course of when we launched those videos, was on the low end around 25 cents a view. So at 2 million views, that's $500,000 in ad spend.
That's unreal. For free 99.
For free 99, yeah, exactly. and you can see the instant benefit there because these were ads first. They're branded, so that means they're on tone with the brand. They call out the product. They provide the USPs, all the standard stuff you would see in an ad. But now we have people watching them for free. So that's $500,000 of prospecting in your pocket.
That just goes to it. And yeah, Cam, what are you going to say?
I was gonna say, how does all those organic views benefit brands with like future bids for paid spend, like paid advertising?
Yeah, so the way that Google Ads works is every time there's a placement available for an ad, an auction happens in the background, like in the Google Ads background. And in order to jockey for position or to assist bidders at the auction to jockey for position, Google crawls websites and then assigns a value, like a rating, to the pages relative to how they relate to the ad. So getting a little more specific, let's say we're looking at a display ad, right? A Google display ad. That's a static image, typically, with a headline and a description. And then from that ad, we'll have it link to a destination URL, which is a landing page of your choosing. And what Google does is it crawls your landing page and then it compares its data with your ad that you're sending to the landing page. So if your ad contains keywords that are frequently used on the lander, you get a better rating because that's more cohesion like within the funnel.
It's like a relevancy score.
Yeah, something like that. So that's one way that you can get a better position at auction is if you have good cohesion between your ads and the lander. And the same thing goes for traffic on YouTube, because if it crawls your channel, it looks at the keywords that are associated with it, and then it'll show your video to people that watch videos related to those keywords and that type of thing. So you can sort of select demographics based on topics, keywords, that kind of thing. So basically, the better rating your channel has because of these good metrics, we see good engagement rate, we see good click-through rate, we see a good amount of likes based on the number of views. That increases your channel's ranking, and that will increase the visibility on your YouTube channel as a whole.
Is there downsides to this? Like, obviously, like we say, we're only doing this with ads that really show promise that people are engaging with heavily. Have we tested doing multiples of these, or is it really just something we've tested sporadically? I'm just trying to figure out how ham brands should go on this.
Yeah, Fabrizio, you have something there?
No, it's okay. We have been testing this on some other accounts. It depends, like the results depends on like the content itself. Also, how are they positioned on YouTube? But what we can say is that at least for shorts, we don't see a downside, because if the content itself has a good view rate, it's just the same as organic content on YouTube Shorts. On landscape content, I think we have some theories, but we haven't tested.
This is definitely something our audience needs to be taking. Need to be multi-purposing your ads. I was saying we always multi-purpose organic content into ads when it works well. This is the first I've heard of doing it the reverse, so pretty cool.
Is there any trends in terms of what content seems to work best transferring from paid advertising through to organic and actually getting a ton of views?
I'm not comfortable saying that we have definitive data on that, but using our intuition, the tests that we've run have used top of funnel content, and there's a pretty clear distinction between top and bottom of funnel styles when it comes to YouTube videos. And basically, if I were to boil it down, top of funnel ads need to get your attention more, right? So that means they just need to be more entertaining, that type of thing. They don't know who the brand is yet. So at the beginning of an ad, seeing that it's about a brand you're familiar with won't help because they're not familiar with the brand yet. So you got to use entertainment in the hook to get people to watch. So typically what we test is the top of funnel content that has good metrics, good KPIs, soft or hard.
Hence why it does so well organically. It's in essence designed to do well on shorts anyways. So that makes sense.
Yeah. And just speaking at Eric's point there, we don't usually see, we usually see it go the other way, where we use organic content as ads That's because it's free, right? We're doing quote unquote testing and we're paying for it, but because we're advertising anyways and we're using the iterative process to kind of continuously shape our ads and inform the angles and styles that we're going to use, we may as well take those learnings and apply them to our organic videos as well, right?
It's all blending. It's all blending. I think the number one thing people need to take away is set your ads free. Set your ads free, from this podcast. And I think people are always talking about YouTube creative and how to make it, essentially, like how it's different from, other formats. And you had another insight here. You guys are calling the dilution effect when it comes to making effective YouTube ads. Who can speak to what the dilution effect is?
I can speak to it here. Let me just pull up a little memory jogger. All right. So basically what the dilution effect is there are arguments that you can make for why a person should buy or use a product or service, right? And if we can assign a value, a strength value to each one of those arguments, one's intuition would lead them to believe that if I have an argument that is 70% effective, and then an argument that's 50% effective, and then an argument that is 40% effective, let me just stack those all together, because that's just reason on top of reason on top of reason, right? But that's not what we've seen. And I say we, by we, I mean the scientific community as a whole, because we are data scientists a little bit, after all. So what we see is actually an overall reduction in argument strength when you combine a strong argument with a weak argument. So an easy example would be if you're making an ad and you're going to talk about USP 1 that has 90% effectiveness and USP 2 that has 50% effectiveness, your overall strength of your ad is 70%, because you add them and then you take the average. So add them up, divide by 2.
I like this. This reminds me of some of the defense partners I've played with Cam in hockey, where you think just having another body out there is good, but when they're turning it over all the time,
like when I'm 90% effective and you're 70% effective.
When I'm 60% effective, yeah, that's right. It brings us down to a healthy 75. Anyway, interesting. So this is funny. We were just talking on the podcast last week, a couple weeks ago, about adjective spamming in your ad text and being able to add multiple descriptive adjectives. Taylor was proving out that by adding multiple descriptive adjectives, that this product is this, and this, and this, and this, and this, that he was actually seeing a benefit of this. And so this doesn't necessarily go against that, but it's a little bit. It definitely is an argument to keep your point streamlined, your benefits really streamlined.
Yeah, well, what I would say to that is the way I think about that is kind of like this. If you're talking about one angle and giving a lot of adjectives that discuss that one angle or USP, then that's just taking your money, folding it, putting it back in your pocket kind of thing, right? So if you're like, this is the coolest thing because your friends are going to want it, all the colorways, so it'll match your favorite shoes, like all that stuff. It just speaks to the angle that this product is cool and hip, and I could see that working with fashion kind of thing. But let's say, for instance, you're trying to sell a car, and a large portion of the audience you're advertising to cares about towing capacity. And then you show them an ad where you discuss towing capacity for 5 seconds, and then you also discuss fuel economy for 5 seconds, and then something else for 5 seconds. You only spoke to your core audience for 5 seconds, and then you wasted their time with the rest of it. You know what I mean?
And the other things might have had negative. Fuel efficiency could be someone who's like really like, no, I'm all about Humvees. I don't want fuel efficiency, right? Like you never know if you diversify your focus, like who you're turning off potentially as well.
Yeah, exactly. You could be trying to sell a hybrid SUV to somebody who cares about towing capacity. And if that's all they knew about it, they might have gone to the dealership and then they're already in there, took it for a test drive. But if they're the kind of person where you tell them it's a hybrid and it's got great fuel economy, then they're like, I don't want that hippie crap. I need to be able to work on it myself, right? Then you talk them out of even entertaining the idea of buying your vehicle.
Yeah. Interesting.
So how does this impact how you guys work through creative testing? It kind of goes back to, it reminds me of, we talk about pilot testing all the time, but you would isolate singular creative variables, or in this case, like angles. Would you guys set up campaigns in a way that you're isolating angles? And like, do you think you get to a point where you're like, okay, this one's 90%, this one's 70%. We may as well test the waters, shove them together, but it's assumed that it's not going to be as strong. Like, I'm curious how it's impacted your creative decisions.
We're still in the infancy of exploring the dilution effect right now, but creatively, the way it's changed the way it's changed or influenced our creative direction, at least for me. I don't know if this is the case for Fabrizio, but what we would do a lot of the time at middle and bottom of funnel is hit them with that multi USP video, right? Where you're like, it's got this, plus it's got this, and no, right? But now what we can do, so what we do at top of funnel is basically what you said. We tease out individual angles. We show them to prospecting audiences. We look at the efficacy across demographics and different audiences that we're serving them to, and then the next step is typically to just layer on the USPs. But what I do now is at bottom of funnel and middle of funnel a bit is basically lean in to that best performing USP. So I kind of wrote up a little example here, and I'm just going to read it to you because that'll be easier for me. So it may seem like reducing the number of USPs is limiting. Like what? Now every ad is going to be 7 seconds long, because how long does it take to mention that, something comes in 5 colors, But it's actually an invitation to explore the most effective USPs more deeply. Instead of simply stating the USP, you can also state the benefits of that USP to the viewer. So basically, you'd be speaking more deeply and effectively to a specific persona or niche or
it just
value.
Leaves more room for future pacing or for inceptioning, right? Like the more you can get people to envision their life with experiencing that benefit, the deeper you get them to go down that decision chain, right? Rather than just keeping them in the rational mind.
That's a great way to put it. You're helping them imagine more deeply what it would be like to get that one benefit from the product, right?
I like that.
Yeah,
so
to toe that big
your words
thing.
There.
Yeah. So I've got an example here. So this is the first ad, okay? The new and improved Thingamajig not only won the Dr. Horsecrap Award for excellence, it also has a lifetime warranty, free shipping, and comes in literally 1 million colorways, so your Thingamajig can match your favorite cat. A lot of USPs in there.
Not sold, sorry.
Pardon?
Not even with the Dr. Horsecrap Award, I'm not sold, I gotta say.
I know, and usually, he's an authority. So here's the second ad. Because every Thingamajig comes with a lifetime warranty, you can treat it like garbage and we'll replace it. Imagine not having to scream at your toddler for banging your Thingamajig on the corner of your coffee table ever again. Let them have a good time, sit back and drink your tea, and let us send you a new one when your little monster destroys the one you just got last week. So I know that's a very...
That's actually a great example.
I know
it
that's
really
more.
Is, though.
I know that's more of like a funny example, but I tried to really lean into how different they can be, and you can see in the first one, it's just like it's like a shopping list, right? It's like the usual suspects that you'd hear in an ad, typically, especially for DTC brands. But the second one speaks more to a specific persona. You can see I'm basically talking to wine moms.
Yeah.
Who
you didn't in this text. It just says wine tea as well, which it just opens up a whole other category of products. I think we should be talking about wine tea, launching that on the world.
Yeah,
and what's beautiful about this is just right in ChatGPT's wheelhouse. Like anytime you want to go deeper on any topic, you could just now just imagine the morning routine of a person with this problem that just had that problem solved or whatever, right? Like it's just you don't even have to use your imagination at all anymore.
I know, it's great. Well,
Amazing.
On that note, ChatGPT is an exciting thing that we can use for generating ideas, and that's something we're starting to explore here. Maybe something we can discuss in a future podcast. Then.
Nice, of course. Okay, cool. This is awesome, guys. I know this is the first of many Google podcasts that we're going to be hopefully having with you guys. Adam, you brought up a few other topics that we wanted to tease. We don't have time to hit on them today, but we just thought we'd mention them. And if anyone out there is listening, first of all, if you guys like the Google content, send me an email at eric@directtoconsumer.co. And then these are the three topics we're thinking of hitting. We're going to talk about applying YouTube video ad best practices, video ad example before and after, applying best practices. Maybe I'll get you to read these, Adam, because you'll have the right inflection. You're very good at accents as well.
Oh yeah. Okay. So what you want each one in a different accent?
No, please no. You're not ChatGPT, like a 1950s gangster ChatGPT.
Okay. So
He can do it. He can do it.
What were the topics you articulated for future podcasts? You just go ahead and mention.
Okay. Yeah. Well, a couple things that we could talk about is like you were saying, Eric, is what are YouTube ad best practices? How to apply them, when to apply them. And I think the easiest way for us to communicate that would be to take an ad that's shit and then optimize it using best practices. And we just show you a before and an after, kind of like a makeover Google Ads edition kind of thing. Extreme makeover Google Ads edition. Yeah. So when you're making YouTube ads, when you're making any kind of ad, it's super, super, super important to review the performance of the ad that came before it. So it's similar to like a skyscraper method. What you want to do is look at the performance data, try to figure out what worked, what didn't. There's a lot of analytics that you can look at for that, right? And then use those learnings to inform the next ads you make. So one thing that we think would be useful to cover for anybody who's interested in advertising on YouTube would be interpreting those KPIs, both soft and hard, because there are soft KPIs like engagement rate, view rate, click-through rate that aren't really what everybody's looking for, which is conversions and ROAS, right? Everybody knows if it's got a lot of conversions and a positive ROAS, that's great. But what happens if you don't have those? How do you interpret those other KPIs? So we could talk about that and how to use that to inform future creative. And the last thing we thought would be cool to talk about is the differences between YouTube ad styles. So like YouTube classic in-stream skippable landscape ads versus YouTube shorts, and how those ads are different. Yeah, by definition and in design and everything.
I love it. We've got some great Google content coming up. I just had a comment about way back about the first thing we talked about, a question. How do you guys account for all those organic views in your reporting? Does it just get rolled up in your campaign data, and do you account for them separately? How does that work? Fabrizio, what do you say?
No, we don't count them. We don't count them at all. It's something that we started testing, as we were saying, and we don't. This is not performance based. This is just trying to help our partners.
Gravy. Just gravy.
Just gravy. Yeah.
I love it. Well, if you want to get access to the gravy, you got to come work with the guys at Pilothouse. So go to pilothouse.co, check that out. Otherwise, let us know. Send me an email if you like the YouTube content, and if you want to hear any of these awesome teasers. We're going to probably do them anyway, but we want to hear if you want them or not. So thanks, guys. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for two very first all killer no fillers. You guys did great today.
Yeah, you guys killed it.
Thanks so much, guys. It was
you.
nice. It was nice to be here.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you're not getting the D2C newsletter, you can subscribe for free at directtoconsumer.co. And if you want to learn more about Pilothouse's all-killer, no-filler services, take off to pilothouse.co. I'm Eric Dick, and this has been the D2C Podcast. We'll see you next time.